great secret of life.
Whatever you're thinking and feeling today is creating your future.
This is one video I have really had to think through before making it because it has eaten so deep into our culture. Your thoughts have the power to manifest in your life. If you think positively and visualize yourself with enough money to live comfortably, the universe will bring opportunities that will make your desires a reality. But negative thoughts would only bring negative outcomes.
I grew up on you have to work hard for money, you have to work hard for money. And so I replaced that with money comes easily and frequently. Now, in the beginning, it feels like a lie, right? There was a part of your brain that will say, oh, you liar, it's hard. So you have to know it's this little tennis match that will go on for a while.
So all you have to do is think the right thought and the universe would align with it. Or is this just a facade? Every generation in the past has had a breakout self-help book that sells a zillion copies and bulldozes through the wallet of millions of people. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich did it first in the year 1936. Then about 20 years later, Norman Vincent Peale came out with the power of positive thinking. Then Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within came along in the 90s. And now we have Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, a short and pathetic read.
I'm Rhonda Byrne, author of The Secret.
The Secret is simply the law of attraction. And the law of attraction states that whatever consumes your thought is what you eventually get out of life.
You will attract everything that you require. If it's money you need, you'll attract it. If it's people you need, you'll attract it. If it's a certain book you need, you'll attract it. You've got to pay attention to what you're attracted to. Because as you hold images of what you want, you're going to be attracted to things and they're going to be attracted to you. But it literally moves into physical reality with and through you. And it does that by law.
This implies that if you think of all the bad stuff you don't want in your life, you will eventually get them. In contrast, if you think of the good stuff, then the good stuff will come your way. The funny thing about all these books is that they more or less say the same thing. Mind your thoughts, stay positive, focus on your goal, ignore self-doubt and criticism, visualize and concentrate on what you want, and you eventually have it. The only difference is that every book brings its own generational edge to the very same fundamental idea. Hill's book launched immediately after the Great Depression, focused intently on making money and getting rich. Peale's work launched immediately after World War II, focused on creating a calm and happy domestic life with good relationship. Robbins' book focused on self-actualization and living up to one's potential. So it is no surprise that Byrne's work launched in the social media smartphone era. And yet, while all books offered a decent and even quite good advice, The Secret is full of misplaced cliches, quotes, and superstitious spiritual ideas. It is some sort of guidebook for entitlement and self-absorption. And I strongly believe that anyone who reads it and implements its ideas in serious ways will find themselves worse off in the long run. Well, let us take a deep dive into what The Secret really is and find out why people feel the ideas actually work for them. Previous self-help authors have hardly even bothered trying to explain why the law of attraction works. But Byrne dives into some cosmological theory. She argues that the reason The Secret works is because the universe is made up of some form of energy. And just as Einstein taught us that matter can be converted into energy and attract like, therefore, the frequency of your thoughts, good or bad, will resonate with the frequency of other energy in the universe. Just like your radio set, when you tune it to a set frequency, it automatically plays the station that was aligned to that set frequency. So, if you only worry about debt and not having enough money to pay and say to yourself over and over again, I cannot afford this, then the universe will respond in a like manner and you will always be broke. But if you believe you are wealthy and rich and successful and powerful and on top of the world, then the universe will respond to these vibrations and soon provide you with the prosperity you desire. If you think you're fat and unhealthy and will never be in good health, then you will never get slim and fit because hey, the universe is listening and will provide you with the experiences that match your thoughts. But if you believe you're thin and beautiful, then guess what? The universe will magically deliver to you healthy, skinny goodness right at your front door. The law of attraction is actually a candid up version of the old psychological concept called the confirmation bias. The confirmation bias is well studied and researchers have known about this for decades. And it actually makes a lot more sense to me than it's taught as a vibration theory. As human beings, we have limited attention for the stuff going on around us. Therefore, whether we realize it or not, usually not, we are always choosing what we pay attention to. The confirmation bias is the human's mind tendency to notice and pay more attention to objects and experiences that matches his pre-existing thoughts and beliefs. We've all, in one way or the other, experienced the confirmation bias before, but we've probably not realized it. Let me use myself as an example. For years, I have never really paid attention to the kind of phone people use. But then, when the time came for me to get a new phone, I suddenly started noticing the make and models of phone of everyone around me. I started making decisions on which style I like and what features I care most about. And I started noticing these details because for the first time in a long while, they are salient and relevant to my thoughts and desires. Another experience of mine is what I named the slow clock syndrome. And this happens to me whenever I am involved in a fast or I just can't wait to get to a particular place at a set time. The time becomes unusually slow. It's almost like a time freeze occurred, like what we usually see in the movies. I look at the clock and it's 11:59, and in what seems like 10 hours later, I come back to check the clock and just 1 minute went by. Or let's say that boyfriend or girlfriend that breaks your heart and your trust and you get involved in a huge fight with them. All of a sudden, you find yourself thinking back and noticing all the shade and questionable behavior from that your friend you never noticed or thought about before. And you start to connect the dots in your head. And these are things you can't believe you overlooked or missed. But because you trusted them so much before, you never noticed it. Now that you don't, you see the long trail of red flags. Essentially, The Secret is an attempt to leverage the confirmation bias to your advantage. The idea that if you're constantly thinking positive thoughts about yourself, you will begin to notice little things in your experiences that confirms this belief, thus helping them come true. On the other hand, if you're constantly thinking negative thoughts, the negative feedback in your environment will stand out to you and make you feel worse. The Secret advocates that people assume the identities of people they wish to become, to actually believe that they're already skinny, rich, healthy, great, in a perfect relationship, beautiful, successful, professional, living their best lives, and just all that good stuff. The Secret tells you to be delusionally positive about yourself for long enough period of time that your natural confirmation bias kicks in and you only attend to things in your life that matches this new belief. This may actually be beneficial though, at least at first. For people who have some pretty messed up delusional negative beliefs, for long enough period of time that your natural confirmation bias kicks in. You also only attend to things in your life that match up your new belief. So changing the way you see things from always messy to always great will probably have a big impact in a lot of areas for you. But at some point, you actually have to, do something. The secret actually requires that you never doubt yourself, consider negative repercussion, or indulge in negative thoughts. And ironically, this could be dangerous. It can lead to taking on risky business ventures or investments, ignoring red flag behaviors from your partner, denying personal problems or health issues, avoiding necessary confrontations and criticisms, failing to weigh the possibility of failure in decision makings. The list is just endless. Here is one example of how things can really get screwed up. Let's say you're working on a new invention that would help hundreds of millions to billions of people and will make you rich, famous, and loved by all. You carry out 4 experiments and 2 of them suggest that this will work and 2 don't. Then you pick up the secret and you read that the universe will actually make it work if only you align your thoughts towards that belief. So you plow ahead, pouring money and time and brain power and precious resources into it. You rationalize negative thoughts away because doubting yourself is tantamount to doubting the universe. But the truth is, you might not really be getting any closer to making it work. You are just leading researchers down a fruitless rabbit hole. And all for what? To feel a little bit better about yourself? Another example is your love life, which I may have used countless times in this video, but then it cannot be overemphasized. You may send the thought frequency to the universe that you want someone who is loving and kind and generous and thoughtful. Soon enough, you find someone that matches that description and you're all over the moon pissing your pants in excitement at the amazed sauce leaking out of your new lover. But in fact, while your new partner may be all that, they may also be kind of, messed up. But because of your delusionally positive mindset, you choose to overlook all the red flags and potential awful behaviors. And you got yourself heart deep into a relationship that will be all about your emotional stability. Well, you all know the happily never after those kind of relationship turn out to be. This delusionally positive thinking can also have negative consequences for people as well. Psychological research shows that trying to suppress your thoughts about something only make those thoughts more likely to recur. The more you try to get rid of unwanted thoughts, the more these thoughts try to dominate your mental space. It's like if I tell you, never think about a pink elephant, the first thing that pops up in your mind is a pink elephant, isn't it? Trying hard to think about the things you do not want can actually lead you to more negative thinking and then put you in this vicious cycle of negativity. Researchers actually show that actively engaging in positive thinking, such as doing well in your exam or getting that dream job, can actually result in poorer outcomes. Here is how. It can make us complacent and lazy as though we have already accomplished something we are yet to accomplish, causing us to put less effort and feel less motivated. Not to mention, there are certain things you cannot actually wish for. You just have to put in the work. Other studies shows that people who engage in self-affirmations like I am strong, I am brave, I am beautiful, I am successful, I am powerful, I'm intelligent, when presented with information that threatens their affirmation, even though it's a healthy feedback or criticism, actually engage in more faulty reasons than people who don't use affirmations. In fact, people who involve in delusional positive thinking ironically become downright angry when someone tries to contradict their wall of airy-fairy thoughts. The truth about their situation just becomes that much more painful to them. Delusional positive thinking ironically generates close-mindedness in people. They must always be vigilant to block out potentially negative feedback or criticism of their belief, even if that negative feedback is life or death important to their health or well-being. And besides, we are all really bad at predicting what will make us happy or miserable in the future. What you really think might give you happiness in the future might not be your happiness source eventually. True happy comes with the fulfillment of what our soul truly needs, and not just merely in the satisfaction of our wants. And that is why we have a lot of people who are super rich, famous, and have all the world may consider as a joy source, but still they are of all men most miserable. So by using the law of attraction, we might spend all our time and energy creating imaginations of a future life that isn't what we need at all. I think it is healthier and more practical to reserve judgment on what I will or will not like until I've found out through my own experience, rather than make things up and hope it works out well. Ultimately, the law of attraction states that if you just think about what you want, it will come to you. When taken to its logical extreme, it encourages us to always be wanting something and never be content. And this can make us less happy in the long run. At some point, we must all come to terms with the struggles and failures in our lives. Our little days on earth is so full of trouble. If you're desperate enough to feel better about yourself, by adopting a philosophy of delusional positivity, that philosophy will appeal to others around you who are desperate to feel better about themselves. In this way, by adopting a delusional positivity, you attract and surround yourself with others who are delusionally positive. I feel this is the theory for why this strain of thought has persisted throughout generations. It is a psychological pyramid scheme of some sort. You take one person who decides to ignore reality in favor of feeling good all the time. This sort of self-absorption then turns off everybody who is content and rational, and instead attracts the most desperate and gullible. This person, delusionally positive to the brim, then attract and surround themselves with other delusionally positive followers. Years later, one of these delusionally positive followers then decides to manifest their dreams by spreading the law of attraction to others who are desperate well-wishers. The chain of positivity carries on this way throughout the generation, where each author, blogger, seminar leader, YouTuber who speaks ardently on manifesting one purpose or believing oneself to happiness and bliss, or listening to the universe, generates a population of delusionally positive followers who then go on to do the same all over again. And so it goes on through the years and down through the generations. Brian is just the latest manifestation. There would be more. This strain of positive thinking affects practically the entire self-help industry. Even people who do not engage directly in this silliness of asking the universe for a better vibration or whatever still rely heavily upon the basic dogma of believing in the positive and suppressing and ignoring the negative, and seeking out happiness above all else. In my opinion, this whole premise is misguided. It's like taking an anesthetic for one's pain. It is not the remedy. Books like The Secret is more or less like cheeseburgers for the mind. They are easy and make you feel good, but they also make you feel mentally fat and lazy. Call me crazy, but I believe that changing and improving your life requires destroying a part of yourself and replacing it with a newer, better part of yourself. It's a painful process full of resistance and anxiety. You can't grow a muscle without challenging it with greater weight. I totally believe in being positive, but I also believe in balance of emotion. You can't build emotional resilience without forging through hardships and loss. You can't build a better mind without challenging your own beliefs and assumptions. Gold is only a mass of crude ore if it doesn't pass through fire. So why do you expect that becoming a better person is easy or pleasant or positive? These are all by definition difficult and stressful activities, and I don't see how one could ever do these things while relying on a delusionally positive belief.
I am a Christian, And my holy book, the Bible, tells us that it is better to be in a house of mourning than a house of rejoicing. Now, why would anyone in their right senses want to go to a house of mourning over a house of rejoicing? Well, for reality check, maybe we reflect more when we are in a sober mood than in a joyous mood. Our deepest life lessons and growth and empowerment and experiences that have shaped our lives has been birthed from our negative emotions like fear, pain, regret, disappointment, anger, sadness, and you cannot just suppress them and live in this airy-fairy world. You can't just suppress and overlook every other emotion that does not suggest joy.
Books like The Secret may act as life preservers for people who are in such a dark and miserable place and they feel as though they are constantly drowning. But the point of a life preserver is to keep you afloat. Eventually, you would have to learn to swim ashore.
On the next episode, I am going to be revealing more sinister and horrific things about this self-help industry that I feel you should know, and this crazy world of positivity that you should be aware of. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, now is a good time to hit the red subscribe button so you don't miss out. If you found this content useful at all, go ahead and smash the like button. If you found this content not useful, then you can smash the thumbs down button twice, just to be sure. I upload every Friday, or not. And if you don't see my upload on Fridays, then it's probably some other day. Click on the next video showing on your screen, and I will see you there. Ciao.